So Arsenal won. Yes, Manchester City 0. They failed to score. Back-to-back league defeats for Pep. Knocked out of the League Cup. And we've finally, Kenny, at the 13th Premier League attempt, beaten Manchester City. You was at the game. You're on your way back on the bus home. It wasn't great. It wasn't the most fantastic hustle and bustle Premier League advert and all that. But ultimately, who cares? We've been robbed at times. We've been done in stoppage time. We've been done at the end, sucker punched. We've had scraps with them before, and then ultimately come out as the loser. Finally, that psychological element is off of our back. Very similar to how it was with Tottenham away last season. Very similar to United away. Very similar to Chelsea over the years. You was at the game, Kenny. Talk me through it, man.
Well, thing about it, the last 5 minutes when we scored, man, it was just like mayhem. Like people, one guy lost his phone. We had to find it for him. People were slipping over because I had my water bottle, and I caught my trainers.
Water bottle, was it?
No. This one's from Tesco's. This is from Tesco's. Don't get me wrong. This is Tesco's. So it was absolute pandemonium. The celebrations a lot, but I think when you look back at the game, you're 100% right. We played. In my opinion, we played in order to. How do I say it? And being nice, we played for a draw. Both teams played for a draw. The lineup was basically, we will not lose this game. We will make sure we always have numbers. Like I said, to protect the defence. Always make sure that if they're gonna beat us down and right, they put the crosses and we're clearing it. Everyone, did a job. There was no real man in the match because the game lacked a bit of quality. If this game, Odegaard had to make some sacrifices, and when he was in the sort of offensive part of the game, there wasn't much coming back from Martin. I ain't gonna lie, nothing much coming back from Martin. And then you've got the other situation where, the situation regarding, like Jorginho. Jorginho was there to do the job. He was there to get the ball, pass it to a red shirt, and get as close as he can. Eddie was there to run himself in the ground. As you can see, Eddie didn't give us any sort of quality. People were slagging him off. But I just want to touch on something. I think some of our fans, right, were giving David Raya a hard time. And give him a hard time if he's not playing well. But you're just picking at everything he does. Every time he tries to kick the ball out. Yes, he nearly got robbed by Julian Alvarez. But the situation is that sometimes some of our fans have got to accept that, whether they like it or not, a decision was made to replace Aaron Ramsdale. You've got to accept that. Don't have a.
Sorry to cut you off. I think the thing, I don't know if you sensed this or had people around you saying the same thing. When Raya had the ball, yes, he made a lot of mistakes today, right? But there was ultimately statuesque. There was no movement.
There was actually no movement. There was no movement.
Rice moves for him. Kovacic goes through him. He should have been sent off. For a second yellow. He should have been sent off for the Odegaard tackle, to be fair.
Well, again,
he gets a bit of. And when you look at Ederson on the other end, it was so easy to pass out.
And that's the thing. We're not a team that's fully formed in order to deal with a keeper that's good with his feet. We're not that team at the moment, and sometimes some of these guys need to accept that. Don't keep bullying a guy and wanting him to fail because your favourite goalkeeper is not for late. We all got favourite players. You know what I mean? But sometimes, right, you can't, be a Arteta lover, and then all of a sudden, when he doesn't make a decision you don't like, you're thinking, oh, look, you've got to accept the fact Aaron Ramsdale had enough chances to improve his kicking, and it hasn't worked out. But the reason why, people think that, our guy didn't kick the ball out properly, and, maybe his clearances weren't the best. Well, when he was getting the ball to Jesus, there was no complaints. You know why? Because Jesus moved.
Yeah.
When he was trying to
touch,
and he got a good first touch. Have you noticed he didn't kick the ball Eddie's way because Eddie was playing with his back to goal.
We're not going to go down the negative route, but he was shocking.
You think is you really can't go down the negative route because you have to. I think we have to accept that the style of play that we were playing today was basically, we knew we weren't going to control the possession. We basically, dare I say it, swallow their pride in terms of we got to play out. We can only beat City playing our football, and just do what like Spurs do when they play City. They make sacrifices, and they think, you know what, this team's better than us technically. We're going to do is we're going to put men behind the bill. We're going to work our nuts off, and if we get a chance, we've got to make sure we take it. Now, rewind back to the 86th minute today. We had our chance. We took it. There was no other chances before that. We took it. Yes, it was a deflection. Yes, it was lucky. But you know what? We stayed in the game. And that's one thing we've got to do. You've got to stay in the game. And our fans have to be patient. We're not always going to play beautiful football. But sometimes recognise the fact and recognise who you're playing and recognise at the end of the day.
Was that vibe in the ground, Kenny, or was it very similar to how our watch along was? No, because we were so angry. We were like, it was
exactly the same thing. Lee, you were no different to what it was like the crowd. People were angry at Raya because he wasn't kicking the ball long. They were angry at some of our players because they weren't running, and they weren't. Their footballing education wasn't advanced as we'd like, and I don't blame them. But the fact is that sometimes you just have to, pull your head in and think, you know what, we're playing a treble winners. You know what I mean? Yes, they probably missed De Bruyne, plus they missed Rodri. But in terms of the quality of players, they're still a multi-billion-pound side there, and who are just a good. Nunez who came on was spent. They spent loads of money on them. Doku spent a lot of money. These are all quality players, and all the squad is better than us. So sometimes when a team is better than you, rather than trying to be them, you've got to be. You've got to make sure you don't lose.
The occasion rather than the team.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We all want to play the beautiful football, and at the end of the day, you can't have it both ways. The fact of the matter is that our manager made a decision and picked a lineup from what he had. If he had Saka and Martinelli with our full team out, there's no way we will play like that. But just as Man City, had to all their ambitions, so did we. We didn't lose the game. Normally I've been having a go at them, but I can't have a go for that. I can't have a go at them for making themselves difficult to beat, because I've been always calling for better defending. And tactics.
Gabriel, Magalhaes, Declan Rice, superb today. Zinchenko when Doku came on, I said all week. I said on the podcast last Monday, all week. If Pep's a genius, he puts Doku on Zinchenko. The first time, one-on-one in the box, I'm like, oh my God, this is my worst nightmare. Zinchenko stands up, gets the ball, bang. See you later. To the left, hooks Zinchenko, Tomiyasu comes on.
Exactly. And that's
etc.
And sometimes that's what you've got to do. Now, we're not going to be able to get away with that when we play them. When we played them at their ground, because for simple reasons, they've got too much quality, and they're actually going to be at us 24/7. Today, they try to be a bit more. They made themselves difficult to beat, and they thought they could nick it, nick a little goal and go, this is what we're going to do. And it wasn't. Well, they weren't able to happen. I just want to say that it was a pleasure to beat them, not because it's Man City, because some of their fans, the arrogance of them. I mean, they had the arrogance of their fans. And normally, I'm going on like Ty, and I don't really want to do it. But for just one split second, I thought, you know what, Ty had a bit of a point. The way they were going around, singing songs, getting in their faces, and they were getting in Arsenal fans' faces, by the way, saying, you nearly won the league. They were getting in their faces. I looked at them and I thought, well, some of you could do a bath.
You need to do a bath.
Some of you could do a bath. And, I wish some of them used deodorant. And I think I wish some of them flossed as well. But you know what? That's the thing. That's the thing. They got every right to be pork chops and go like pork chops. They won a treble. But the bottom line is that for one night and one night only, we got what we needed. And maybe this is a formula to beat Man City at home. Away from home, we just have to pray.
Kenny, we beat Tottenham away last season. We've beat Man United away. Yeah, we've got the elephant out the room with Chelsea. Now they're struggling to beat us, right? But previously, we had that, and then Wayne Bridge ruined that situation, and they went on a mad run against us. It's psychological, Today, when the final whistle went, obviously you wouldn't have seen Arteta's face. The smirk on his face when he's walking to Pep, and shaking hands. The smirk was like, yeah.
Well, he's finally got one on the guy.
Fair play to him. Fair play to him. It wasn't pretty. The game was not great. It wasn't a good advertisement for Premier League football. The Liverpool Brighton game was a good advertisement. I watched that. Yeah. That was.
But what's the difference? All right, let me tell you the difference between us and Liverpool. Liverpool have got a world-class front three. World-class front three that is full of goals. Full of goals. We haven't got that. We ain't got that. We have to fight. We got to win different ways. You know what I mean? Saka weren't playing today. Martinelli wasn't playing a full game. Sacrifices had to be made, and we sacrificed it. We used Martinelli. One thing I want to say, one negative, I'm sorry to say it, Trossard's dropping the ball, mate. I'm sorry, I'm worried about it. He's dropping the ball. But you know, Dave, you can't have this kind of build-up from people like us saying, you've got to play. He's dropped the ball too many times now. That's another game that he hasn't performed.
Like, look at him in Lons on Tuesday, he can't even trap the ball. Yeah, and listen, I love Trossard, and I know you do as well. Yeah, but we call it as it is. But listen, Kenny, get him safely, man. I love you always, man. And look at that smile. That smile,
let me tell you something now. I'm so glad that I'm fit and I go running. I'm so glad that I used to lift weights. Because I'll tell you one thing, right? Those celebrations was like doing, how do I say it, 20 bench presses. The way we hugged each other. And it was relief. It wasn't love. It was relief. We go, we beat Man City. We beat Man City. You know what? Let me tell you something right now. You know what a hug is, right? This was a hug. You know what? It was worse. I don't know. It was 4 bear hugs after the match. It was. Let me tell you. You know, like this thing we say, limbs. It was limbs. Yeah. Limbs.
No, good,
limbs.
Good. So it should be.
You know, I've had I'm sick and tired of them beating the season.
We've beaten them so many times in Community Shields, in semi-finals at Wembley. Yeah, we beat them at Wembley. But when it comes to now, in the Premier League, first time in 13 attempts. Yeah, we're going to enjoy that tonight, tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're going to wake up and we're going to go, cool. International break, we can relax. But now, let's hope all our players come back and then we do Chelsea.
100%. Come on.
Ultimately, we're at, mate, my whole urban, there's 11 or 12 blocks of apartments here, with 12 apartments in each one. 144 apartments or whatever. Mate, I swear, when that goal went in, I'm screaming and shouting in English and Spanish. Que golazo, que golazo.
That's how you got to do it. You know what? We get accused of being negative and like big babies. And yet today you just think, you know what? I think psychologically, Leicester City has hit us for 6 instead that we expect to lose against them. And that's the thing. I expect them to beat us, and I think what's happening is that our players were desperate not to lose. And they thought, you know what, we'll take a point because they do have an inferiority complex to City, and rightly so. City have earned the right to be superior to every team. But you know what? There is times where, they'll win the league. But, it's nice to take a few points of them.
Man. Enjoy it. You never know.
If Spurs can beat them, we can.
Pedro Neto in January, you never know.
You never know.
And that's the beauty of football, man.
Remember one thing, right? One bit of negative. Enjoy it whilst you can. It's only 8 games. Who knows what it's all happening when they get all their players back? But whilst we're there, we're going to do it. The only negative is Spurs are still top of the table.
They're top on goals scored. We should be top on alphabetical order. But listen, get home safely.
5 p.m.
tomorrow. 5 p.m. tomorrow.
Without fail.
Love you,
see you later. Love you too. See you later.
Love.